Let's talk about some general ProPresenter settings. Once you get everything set up and you've got your projector going and things look good, you'll take a look at ProPresenter here and get it set up for the evening. Now, if it's not set up for some reason, if the projector is being weird or whatever, you might have to restart ProPresenter. You might have to restart the computer so that the computer and the projector can relate to one another well. But let's say you've got good stuff going on. You want to make sure you've got your output figured out. Because if I click on this announcement loop, it's not actually going to the projector because we've got our output off. So it's just showing on the screen what's running. And so to get that going, you want to go to ProPresenter 6 and check your preferences. And you want to make sure that the second screen says out like this. Sometimes it can be kind of goofy and not in the right place. And so you want to make sure it says out. You also want to make sure your width and your height is correct. When we're in the PSU theater, the width should be the aspect ratio of 1920 by 1080. And ProPresenter is going to adjust based on that. However, when we're in the ballroom or in the food court and we're using our screen, the aspect ratio that we use is 1024 by 768. And so you want to make sure that's all good. And then once that's good, you can hit the output button, and you can't see it, but it is outputting onto a different screen, onto the projector right now. Another thing you want to make sure of is you want to make sure that you're set on the right date. Sometimes when we reopen ProPresenter, it pulls up some random 801 that we did a week or two ago. And so you want to pull this menu out here, and you want to check the playlist and make sure you're on the correct date. If you click on a new playlist, it will revert to a different set of songs and different things there. We want to make sure we're on the right date. Another thing you can do is select contiguous, and that allows you to scroll through the entire 801 right here. Right now we're only seeing the announcement loop, but if we select contiguous, it's going to take a few seconds, but then eventually you'll be able to see everything. Let it do its magic. And so now we can scroll through all of the lyrics and all the different things. When I'm editing stuff, I like to get out of contiguous because it moves a little bit faster. Now, a common problem that we have is sometimes the settings that we have for ProPresenter will revert back to something weird, like a previous week's settings, or an individual song will get all kind of messed up. And so if you're running ProPresenter and you're in a rehearsal right before 801 and it's not aligning with what people are singing, that's probably because a different arrangement has been pulled up for some reason on ProPresenter. So you want to go to the song that is struggle bussin' a little bit, and you're going to click this icon, which allows you to mess with the arrangement. We've got some arrangements set here. You got the master, but then you've got the standard arrangement. Some songs have multiple arrangements already set up. You're going to select the arrangement that you think is correct. Sometimes, most of the time, that's going to be standard arrangement, but sometimes if a song is being used for a tag or like a chorus only or something like that, there might be an arrangement called that. Now, if you're still having problems, if the band is doing a different arrangement than what is on the screen in front of you, you can change that. If they're doing two choruses right after verse 2, for example, you can drag in a second chorus and make sure that goes. If they're not doing this chorus at the end, you just exit out. And that's pretty simple. So that's a way in which you can fix things. If an individual slide is weird, you can edit it by going to Quick Edit, and you can type in some stuff there. Or you can go to Edit Slide, and it takes you to a different menu where you're messing with all of the slides, and you're able to edit from there. Another thing you want to make sure of is that songs have the correct template. So sometimes the template might be weird when you pull up ProPresenter. So you want to click on the first slide of the song that might look weird, and we've got these templates up here. We've got our CCH defaults. Those are the correct templates. If we're in the ballroom or the food court and we're using our screen, the aspect ratio that we're using is 4:3. So we've got 4:3 lyrics as a template. If we're in the theater, the aspect ratio that we use for the projector is 16:9, and the template that we have for those lyrics reflect that. So let's say it gets kind of crazy like this, and that looks really bad. That doesn't work on in the ballroom on that screen. It's because it's the wrong template. So we want to make sure we select the correct template, which is the 4:3 lyrics. And when we're in the ballroom, we like the lyrics up high so that people can see them on the screen. Another good thing to remember is that you have this clear all ability. So you've got something on the screen and maybe it's not the right thing. Oh, clear all. Let's get rid of that. And so that's a really handy thing. If you've got audio playing in ProPresenter, you can just clear audio. If for some reason lyrics are over the top of a slide like this, and the slide isn't supposed to be there, you can clear background, and that'll get rid of the slide without getting rid of the lyrics, and the lyrics will stay there. So those are really important buttons to remember while you're running ProPresenter. The final thing that we'll talk about is messages. So sometimes there is a countdown that we want to show on the screen. And so in this particular case, we're going to start a 15-minute countdown, and it's going to come in this bottom part of the screen. Ideally, the settings will be correct when you open this, but a lot of times it's not. So you're going to open this messages deal and go to countdown. And let's click this edit message to make sure we've got this correct. So we've got the countdown here, and we do actually have a template in our CCH defaults for a 4:3 messages countdown. So if we're in the ballroom, this is the countdown that we want to use. And in order to get this countdown on the screen, we click show message. And it's immediately going to be on the screen, and it's going to go away whenever it finishes its 15 minutes. Now, if you need to hide the countdown for some reason, you can click hide and it's still counting down, and then you can show it again and it pops back up. You can also stop the countdown and refresh it and click show message again, and it will start. And so that's pretty important for when we're doing group activities that are being timed, and you're supposed to run a countdown. You want to make sure you click on messages, make sure it's on countdown and not message. Make sure that the template is good, and you can just show message and it'll pop up on the screen. And so that's all we really need to think about oh no, there is another thing. If you're missing an item, if for whatever reason there's no song here, like No Outsiders wasn't in that list, you can find the library in ProPresenter by scrolling down like that, and you can search No Outsiders and find it, and you can drag it down into the playlist if you'd like. You can also remove things from the playlist, like so. In announcement loops, if something's not right with the announcement loop, you can click on the first slide and make sure that the timer is set for each slide to a specific thing. I like 7 seconds for the announcement loop, and that should automatically go through all the slides, and then this icon here means that it's going to loop back to the beginning at the end of that loop. And I think that's all with ProPresenter.